Appreciate you for tuning in to the Theory Expo. If you enjoy the content we're doing, please like and subscribe. And on that note, let's get to it. Welcome back to the Theory Expo. Hey man, I was thinking and just looking at this list, we at the end of phase 4. Or we almost at the end of phase 4. We almost at the end of phase 4.
We won Christmas special away, right?
Yeah, we still got the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, but we looking at that as like kind of the Werewolf by Midnight as the
Werewolf by Night,
kind of like the Werewolf by Night. My bad. The kind of the Marvel Studio special. I think that's what they called it. What they call the midnight thing. The
special presentation.
Special presentation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna officially end because the movies have ended. Phase 4. Next thing we get is Ant-Man. Wakanda Forever ended phase 4. Thought it'd be a good chance to kind of give us an opportunity, even though it's only been a week. Give us an opportunity to rank the MCU movies. Right. Let's rank the phase 4 MCU movies. When you look at the roster, yes, there were 7 movies, so it's probably not as many movies. I don't think it's the same amount of movies as like phase 3 had. I had to look. I think phase 3 had more movies, but when you add the TV shows, right? We had the TV shows. It's like there's nothing that competes with how much content they put out in one phase.
Yeah, this is definitely the most. This is the most jam-packed phase out of all of them. You know,
there doesn't compete.
Event after event, show after show. You know, they followed up a movie with a show, and vice versa. It's all this is very busy phase,
and it's going to be like a to each his own thing. Whether like, because there's an exciting part when you like, man, there's so much content coming out. When you look at before everything came out, and it's like, wow, man, we're not going. Now the pandemic kind of threw some of that off. But at the end of the day, there was like, you look at the thing, it's like, man, we getting all these movies, we getting all these TV shows, we even got legacy characters in the TV shows. So it's going to be your own personal opinion whether it delivered or not, right? Like, okay, you got a lot of content, but was it watered down, right? Or was it, or did it hit? Did you? I know I walked away from other phases when it happened. I was like, damn, boy. Like, does this one for me probably doesn't, but for some others, it probably like I'm just happy to get some MCU content. They probably on that level. But
yeah,
I think it's a good time for us to rank the movies. We're gonna start off with the movie. I think we're gonna do the movies and the TV shows, but we're gonna start off ranking the movies. We had 7 movies that dropped.
Correct.
We had 7 movies that dropped, beginning with Black Widow. Well, I'll just run out and say I'll run down 7 movies. Right.
And it started in what year?
May,
Black Widow
May
was
2020.
2020, right?
May 2021.
Yeah, Black Widow was the first one. I think Eternals was after that.
No, it was Shang-Chi. I'm going to run it down.
Oh, Shang-Chi, okay.
Yeah, it was Black Widow, then Shang-Chi, then Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Black Panther for Wakanda Forever. So I think that's 7, right?
That's 7, yeah.
I think I saw the number as 7. So yeah, and then I would think about it when I didn't even think about it that way. It feels like it would have started in 2020. That's 7 movies in like a year and a half, right? So we really break it down. Like if it started May 2021.
That's correct. Yeah.
Up until first week of November 2020. That's actually a lot of movies in a short amount of time.
A lot of movies, 7 movies jam packed in that short amount of time. So how you want to start? Is you want to start from the bottom and up to number 1? You want to start from 7? Work our way up to 1.
Let's go from 7 up 1. Let's bring up the classroom real quick. bring up the board.
Campier style, right?
I'm gonna share the screen real quick. Share the window. So we just got the little Pages notepad. Got mine on the side. You can't see one. You can't see my list. Got it over here. Okay, we start with you. Let me going to go. I'm just going to put the bullet point. I'm just going to put it with a bullet point. I don't feel like trying to format it and try to do a descending order of numeric bullet points. So we just go bullets. So what do you got? What do you got as your? You know what? I actually find it. Me personally, I find it more interesting not knowing what you think your best is. I find it more interesting to know what you got as your worst. You want to start? I mean, to me, you want to start with one.
No,
You
you're
want to go
starting from the
one
top.
down?
Yeah, because I was saying the same thing. Yeah, I want to
Like,
see. You want to know
okay.
what bottoms out.
I want to know what bottom out. Like, not what you think the best one was. We might agree on that one, but what do
All
you
right.
think the? What do you
I think
think
it's
the
obvious
worst
with
one?
number one. I think we should have the same number one.
So what you got before I start typing?
I
Marty's
got
like
No Way
pen.
Home.
Okay.
No Way Home. Spider-Man. No Way Home.
Okay.
You had the return of Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
Return of Andrew Garfield.
yeah.
It was like the worst kept secret, pretty much. But it was still like when you seen them show up on screen in that second half of the movie, it hit like just like man, that moment.
And when you think back to it, how long that moment lingered, like meaning not that moment lingered,
Yeah.
like how long the lie was going. Like, it was like literally the entire pandemic up until that point.
You had
No, I'm
Andrew
not in
Garfield. Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna be here. Doing the Magic Johnson. I'm not gonna be here. Nah, you had Andrew Garfield, man. He was denying it. Toby was pretty much quiet.
Yeah.
You had damn, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is like the worst. He the worst when it comes to spoilers, but he was even kind of mum on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we had an idea that the two other Spider-Man were gonna show up. Stuff started leaking.
Yeah.
It was like a huge build up for this movie. A lot of anticipation. And
It helped with the promotion, didn't it? It helped with the promotion, like just that energy at that time leading up to that.
it paid off though. It paid off. This movie was a huge event. This movie, unfortunately, I feel like this movie was the only movie that really felt like an Avengers level event.
Felt like an event.
I would say not the. I would say that actually where you left the theater feeling like you had saw an Avengers level movie or event. The build up was certainly that way.
It was a Spider-Man Endgame. That was like how it was
Yeah,
touted. Like it was like Spider-Man Endgame.
Yeah, Spider-Man Endgame. Return to Green Goblin. In my opinion, Tom Holland's best performance.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Even though he's my least favorite Spider-Man, this was his best performance. This was the best Spider-Man out of this new trilogy. So, or this latest
I agree
trilogy.
with you. We never talked about that. That was his best performance as Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah, his so best. No one. I agree. No Way Home. That's my number one. My number two, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. This was a movie that, now, granted, had you asked me this with no Disney Plus, had we had to rank movies, like let's say like this was the last movie to come out and we didn't get a Disney Plus release yet, I would tell you right now this wouldn't be number two. This movie got better with time. We went over it on the show. We did a recording. We did a review for this movie. Very disappointed. Our first time watching it in the theater, and even the second time I went back, I still was like, still hasn't changed for me. But it wasn't until we got home, and you turn that thing on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You turn that Dolby Vision on.
Turn that Dolby Vision on.
It was like, I see why they made this.
That Dolby Vision on.
That Dolby Vision on, And then you watch the IMAX version of it.
Yeah, it was
totally made. It's made for that.
It was made for that. It was a much better movie at the crib. It changed my whole entire outlook on it. I enjoyed it at home.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very much a horror movie for the MCU. A great performance by Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, 100%. It was basically her movie.
It was her movie. It was basically part 2 of WandaVision.
It was like what I thought we talked about last time. Not to upstage you, but it was like what we talked about last time. How I thought the Disney Plus TV shows were going to work in conjunction with the movie. You have the TV show, and then the story finishes off in the movie, right?
Yeah,
and I felt like all the movies were going to be like that. I think they've changed the movie to do that because of the success of WandaVision, right? I believe they had a lot of writer changes, not a lot of, but they had a major writer change and a major director change, right? Like leading into it. But yeah, like you say, the home experience and the Wanda of it all, I totally agree. Not the up the stage, what you were just saying.
Nah, but total heel turn by Wanda in this movie. Again, just didn't slap the same way that it slapped at home. Like when you got home, just like damn. You saw like the trees and everything change red, and the little she was in the apple orchard or whatever,
Yeah, the apple orchard or whatever it was.
Orchid, yeah. So, better movie at home, in my opinion. And this might be a separate list one day. I think it's the best movie you can watch on Disney Plus right now. Like, if we talk about just
conversation, that's a good one.
To your eyes, for your eyes, best movie you can watch on Disney Plus right now.
And that's including. So we including. Yeah, that got to be another list, including anything that was already archived on there too. We saying.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I actually don't disagree. I want to disagree with you. I'm trying to think of something. But I can't think of nothing that could compete with that.
Slap. Well,
I can't even think of anything that competes with that. I agree. Right today, I agree. I got to think about that one for a minute.
So we continue on. This is where I feel like. This is where I'm hurting a little bit, man. I'm hurting, big homie. I'm hurting, bro. But I gotta keep it a bucko. Number 3. Man, I got that damn Shang-Chi number 3, bro.
Okay.
I got Shang-Chi number 3.
I know what you wanted to do. I know what you wanted to do.
You know what I wanted to do. But I got that Shang-Chi number 3, man. Shang-Chi, and it's not even that Shang-Chi. It's not the greatest movie, man. It's not even like worthy. Let me phrase it a different way. Let me articulate this better. It's not that it's necessarily like the third best movie after Doctor Strange, or it's like 2 spots away from No Way Home. But I give it credit because it's one of the most consistent movies out of the phase.
Mm-hmm.
It don't really try to like reach too high, but it doesn't ever fail you. You know what I mean? Like
it's a low ceiling, like a low floor, high ceiling, whatever that term is. Was like it's where it's supposed. It does.
It's where it's supposed to be.
It's not failing and it's not exceeding.
Not the greatest special effects. The villain wasn't that great, but I did feel like his Shang-Chi's dad, the Mandarin. This version of the Mandarin actually paid off, man. I really like. Yes. I'm a huge fan of that the fake Mandarin until they pulled that switch. I was a huge fan of that Mandarin in Iron Man 3, but this Mandarin
leading up until being just an actor.
Yeah, I feel like this guy actually redeems this. He one of the stronger characters in this movie.
Yes,
his performance sticks out. So
yes, yeah, he was super dope.
Yeah, he had a great performance. So for that reason, because this movie is so consistent, I give it the number 3 spot.
Okay,
because it's like nothing. I walked away with this movie not hating a lot about it. I've seen it twice at the theater. Took my wife, took my daughter on separate occasions, and I walked out of it like, for the most part, that's enjoyable. And then even when I watched it at home, I'm like, man, this is for the most part, this is rewatchable.
Yeah, fact.
Again, it's never gonna stick out as one of my favorites, but it's for this phase, I got it number 3. For this phase.
Yeah.
All right. Agreed. Number 4. Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
I got Wakanda Forever in there, even though we gave it a relatively low rating. 3.5 mics. Bruh, it basically boiled down to, I still feel like this movie had a lot of redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
The fight scenes to me were still top notch. It's a very messy movie, but I appreciate it a lot more than I did the other movies in the phase. Like I still walked out of it like with things that I can appreciate about this movie. That being the wardrobe. I do think it was had a lot of strong performances in it.
Yeah,
especially from Angela Bassett.
It's got to be the best acted movie in the phase, right?
It's the most well acted movie in the phase. Yeah, and I said it about Yeah, I said that about the first Black Panther. I would argue that that's one of the best acted movies in that
Acted movie.
phase,
Yeah.
because when you think about um just this fact that that movie thrived on the fact that it had characters. It didn't have to everything didn't have to revolve around T'Challa, even though he was the strongest character
Yeah.
and he was essential. Uh, you had very great character development from all the other characters. It wasn't really no weak characters in there, including the
No.
villain.
Yes.
So I walked away the same way with this one. And now it was some weak characters in here, but
Yes.
still the majority of these characters, the majority of these performances were strong. So I would say Wakanda Forever is my number 4. Number 5. That's where it get bad. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm.
I got Thor: Love and Thunder number 5 actually,
Mm.
and that's saying a lot because this was also a mess. This is also a movie that I sort of
Mm.
I struggle with, but Chris Hemsworth is still Thor, man.
He's
Chris
the
Hemsworth is still Thor, bro, and Christian Bale was Gore, the
yeah, he
God
killed it.
Butcher.
Yeah, he killed it.
I needed more of him. I didn't get it, but what the little bit that I got, it was strong. It was a very strong villain. And for that reason, it holds up for my number 5. I had a
Okay.
very strong performance from this villain.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, bro. I walked out of there like, damn, man, I wish I'd have got more with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Um, and I know a lot of people didn't, but I like Natalie Portman's performance too, bro. I thought she was dope as Thor, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like
I
for
agree
the
with you.
most part, I liked her performance.
To the point, they probably shouldn't have killed her so quick.
She probably should have waited on that. Like, hey, just chill for a minute, because Chris Hemsworth taking a break right now.
Yeah.
So for a movie that didn't have a Loki in it, for a Thor movie that didn't have a Loki, not anywhere near as strong as Ragnarok,
Mm-hmm.
but and a lot of jokes did not hit. It was very goofy, a very
Yeah.
goofy movie.
Yeah.
But for that, but the fact that it had Thor, Chris Hemsworth is Thor, and it had Christian Bale as the God Butcher,
Okay.
I still got it number 5 over Black Widow.
Okay.
Because because I'm holding, I got last.
Oh, I
So
know you got. Yeah, you about to empty a
no,
clip.
I'm about to empty my clip on them. So we got, all right. So Black Widow, this is a movie. Again, this the reason this movie is number 6 behind all these other movies is because of the things I said. It didn't meet my standards. I didn't appreciate the villain.
No.
Taskmaster, that, come on, man.
No.
That was bad. That was
Yeah.
bad. That was a waste, wasted potential, man. I did like Elena, and I even liked what's his name?
Red
The red.
Guardian.
I like Red Guardian to an extent too, but the rest of the movie was just sort of like half baked. This movie didn't justify its existence to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I walked out of this like, did they really have to make that? Did I need that? I don't
Especially
think
for the time period that they did the movie in. Like it was set in
Yeah,
between Civil War and Infinity War.
I didn't need that, bro. I probably would have needed it back then, but between those two
100%.
movies, I probably would have appreciated it a lot more. But for them to come out with that now, and we talked about this, but yeah, it just didn't. It didn't. It was a miss for me, man. It was a miss for me. I watched it maybe once. It didn't improve on Disney Plus.
No. I only watched it on Disney Plus.
I only watched it on Disney Plus, and by the
Yeah.
time it came out, I really didn't. I kind of was just, like you say, what's your word, knuckling through it.
Knuckle through it.
I knuckled through it, you know what I mean. But I got through it, and I watched it, and I
Yeah.
examined the parts I needed to, and it's a weak movie for me, man. It's just not strong, not great performances. No performances really stuck out other than Elena's. Even Scarlett Johansson was kind of just like
Yeah.
going through the motions.
Finishing out the contract.
Yeah, the two villains in the movie were whatever, fight scenes. I expected a lot more out of the fight scenes from a Black Widow movie, because her fight scenes, bro, is like, I would argue, man, we could do rankings all day on MCU with content, bro.
You could do a lot of rankings because I'm with you on this one. I like this topic. What you about to bring up? We're going to note
fight
that.
scenes.
Bookmark
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Who got the best fight scenes in the MCU?
Who got the best?
Like, who got the best work?
That's a real debate. She amongst the top 3, if not the top 2, and I'm not sure.
When she smacked up Hawkeye in the first Avengers movie, but she came
in the game,
bro.
I would even go back to how she came in the game. Was she working for Tony? When she had the long hair and she like ran up on the wall.
When she did that inside of when she went to Hammer's office, facility.
Her stunt woman, man, put in work. So
yeah.
So for them to not really continue that here in her solo movie, you know. So Black Widow number 6, man, and my number 7. In my opinion, the worst movie out of the phase, one of the worst movies in the MCU. I probably would say it is the worst in my opinion, but that's a different ranking. But the Eternals, man, the Eternals bottoms out my top 7. This movie was 2 hours long and did not justify its runtime. I think it was 2 hours, 30 minutes or something like that.
2:20, 2:30.
Yeah, 2 hours, 20 minutes. You had 2 hours and 20 minutes, yet I know I bring this up every time, but it's 2 lines that made this movie that made me just want to just walk out. And it was just how they treated Icarus at the end, bro. It was you had a villain who they didn't justify him being a villain.
No.
So when you do something as bold as take who actually is supposed to be the leader and make them the villain of the movie, and then you don't justify it, and then your justification for it is, I've always wanted to clip your wing, or what is it? I've always Fastos, where he had the line where they fighting at the end. I've always wanted to clip your wings. And then he had another line in there talking about the girl, what's her name, who ended up being like the hero, but she was kind of weak. Cersei. He was like, you've always doubted her. That was an absolute lie. That was absolutely false. In fact, he has a line in the movie where he tells everybody, hey, Cersei should make the decision. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he like, hey, Cersei's the leader.
Yeah.
So I know that happened in the movie.
Yeah.
But yet you're telling me you've always doubted her. Bro, I just watched 2 hours and 20 minutes of him up her butt the entire time, bro. He following her around. His nose been open for 2,000 years. So you didn't justify that. You didn't earn that. So you turned essentially the MCU's Superman into the villain of the movie, and you had 2 hours to justify it. You didn't. So this movie to me was an absolute failure. This was a waste of cinematography. I thought the cinematography was great.
It was beautifully shot.
The visuals were great.
It was beautifully shot.
Somebody else pointed this out. I want to give him credit, but I forgot what YouTuber pointed this out. But the running,
talking about the fast girl.
What was her name?
I can't remember her name.
Makari?
Something like that.
I might be making it up, but I forgot her name. But she was the speedster chick, the speedster deaf chick. That was like that. Her running scenes. That was like some of the best. But other than that, I didn't like this movie. I didn't like the villains.
No.
I did not like the what was the name of it was the Eternals versus the
Deviants.
The goddamn Deviants. I didn't like them. I thought they were ill-conceived.
That's what I could get off my line too. Goddamn Deviants.
Yeah. Goddamn Deviants. Yeah. But no, I did not like this movie. It wasted 40 minutes of runtime, in my opinion. You had 2 hours and 20 minutes to justify a villain, a heel switch. You didn't do it.
It's like they spent too much time trying to make it a shock turn instead of like you could have spent that last half of the movie dealing with him.
I really got a lot of I can have a whole. It's just my thing, man, about this movie. Like my disdain for this movie. I can justify it. Like I can like explain everything I hate about it, but I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just saying, I really could talk about this movie because it really disappointed me. Um, because it was so long, but it just was like, okay, you didn't explain to me why this guy was the villain. You didn't, and for them to do that to make Icarus the villain, and then have him fly into the sun at the end, it's just
They also didn't make it why would who choose what? Because judging by the movie, different people would have chose different sides, right? And it didn't go that way. That we made the little person, it was like basically kind of the young child that never grew.
yeah,
Ultimately, was like because she had a crush. She had lived with Cersei the entire time, right? But because she had a crush, she ran with Icarus. Like that didn't make sense considering like the other dude who could do the mind control, he the first one to leave because he wanted
facts.
that. Why wouldn't he? So like it just it was
Yeah,
just like the rhyme or
yeah,
reason what you try to set up to the point where you get to your epic, supposed to be epic moment, and that's when you do the heel turn.
and
That
I
was
feel
without
like
merit. Yeah.
it was. I feel like it was. I agree with you. I feel like it was the first time out of all the movies. I'm talking about all the previous phases where the director and the writers they already expected you as the viewer, if this makes sense, they already expected you as the viewer to kind of like fill in the blanks of why this guy was the villain. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It was like, oh well, like it was made for somebody, for like a certain person. I feel like it was made for like a certain like view. It was made for a certain viewer. I know that it might not make sense, but
I get what you're
it,
saying.
it was made for like people who were supposed to just be like, well, I mean, obviously he the villain. I mean, he the you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he the problematic male. Like of course he the villain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that's where she was going with that. I felt like that's where the writers were going, where they didn't feel like they needed to do the work by explaining it. They didn't need to add context. They just wanted you to fill in the blanks. Like, oh yeah, well yeah, of course Icarus the villain. But
Yeah.
it's like, nah, bro, you didn't. Why? Wait a minute. You didn't earn that, and you dropped two lines that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's unforgivable for me, man. So Eternals is my it rounds out my list at number 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So we're about to get into mine.
let's
We're
go.
about to
Let's
get into
go.
mine.
Number
So
1.
I think we know what number one gonna be. For
Yeah,
every reason, let me put the little numbers, put the number bullet situation. For every reason, well, that ain't gonna work. So I'm just gonna go bullet point. Just regular bullet point. So I'm gonna go No Way Home. I got No Way Home for everything you said, and then I'm gonna also add the experience I had watching it. It was like just being in the theater watching it. That shit was a community. Like all of us experienced the same thing at the same time, the same way. We we laughed. I didn't cry, but let's say we laughed, we cried, we we got excited, we were in shock, anxiety was here, right? Like every moment, whether even the stuff that we could look at it, it was might have been cheesy, whatever it was like Jamie Foxx's Electro character was so much better than it was. So they got to redeem him, right? Got to redeem him.
yeah, they did. Yeah,
As savage as Green Goblin was like he was way more in this one, right? And believable. So it wasn't even like mustache twirly, like I said in the last recording. He slapped. Andrew Gar, just seeing him walking through when he went through the portal, it was like, goodness, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew that moment
yeah,
was there, right? And then when it happened, it was like it just the theater lifted up, right? And then you see Toby come in, but just the experience I had with everyone that was in the theater, not just who I was with, everyone in the theater, we all shared the same, and it delivered. So it already had a high expectation, and I walked out like, God damn. So that was a fun time,
we
and
got our end game,
we got that.
just not at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
We got it
exactly.
like slightly in the middle, But yeah, that was the end game of this phase. But yeah,
That was a really good
absolutely an
time.
event.
That movie made our name for our show,
Yeah, it
right?
did.
That's because
Yeah.
that's when the Expo was going down. Like it was just out
Yeah.
there. That kind of
That's
that's what made our name for the what we titled Theory Expo. It started from us talking
that's a
about
great
how it was
point.
going from No Way Home.
That's a great point about this phase. In this movie in particular, so many damn theories about this movie.
Yeah,
Um, man, like the fever pitch. Like I would argue that it might have got a little bit bigger with Doctor Strange, just because Strange had all the, it was called
they called
multiverse.
it Multiverse of Madness.
It was just so many ideas, about the so many theories about the multiverse. But this one definitely was there, right there with man, so many damn theories, man.
And it was
And
actually a multiverse movie, a
it
Spider
yeah,
Verse. It was a
this is
Spider Verse
what
movie, but
this was the true
different.
multiverse movie,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, this is a true multiverse movie. We actually got characters from the multiverse who were main characters in the movie.
and the
Uh,
video game Easter eggs. Like it just delivered all the way around. Like it pulled from it went from all the three different Spider-Mans. And
the
then
music, yeah,
yeah, and then a lot of Aunt May stuff was really the Aunt May from the video game. Whether it was a tombstone, where she worked,
yeah. What was it called? What's the place she called?
Feast.
Feast.
Yeah.
And she died like she
And
did
she
in the
died.
game, right? So like
Yeah.
she died in the game. So it's like,
And
man,
that really
that's
helped because I had
that's my
just finished
favorite,
the game right before that
bro.
movie came out.
That's my favorite Spider-Man, man. PS4 Spider-Man, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that's my favorite Peter Parker. Like
All
that's
together.
my favorite version of Spider-Man. But that's
I seen one where they was trying to rank who was everyone's favorite Aunt May. And I got mad that they didn't have the video game Aunt May in there.
Oh, they tripping. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like they were doing the rankings, they didn't have the video game.
Oh, they should have had that one.
Well, you
They
gotta
should
have
have
a video
had
game
that.
as part
Come
of
on,
somebody you
man.
could select.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
that's a good list right there.
I mean, we could throw this. So I'm going No Way Home with number 2. Even though I got the bullet point, number 2, same as you, Multiverse of Madness, and I agree. It wasn't the number 2 when I left the theater. I was hot. Like, man, but I was hot, like more hot than I needed to be. Like I shouldn't have been that upset about when I walked out. Like that's what I got. But then once I got to calm down, and then it dropped on Disney Plus, and then you watch it again, and on Disney Plus, it's dare I say, I'm cool because you gave them the moment where the comment saying it's the best looking movie. It played the best on any movie that's on Disney Plus right now. Dare I say it's an incredible Disney Plus movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's really incredible on Disney Plus.
It's a great highlight.
And it was like the second movie for real that I watched because I got the OLED. First one was the Batman.
Oh,
and then when that Multiverse of Madness came out, I'm about to watch it in a minute. When I watched it on that, I said like even that stuff that she was doing that I didn't like in the movies, like when she run up on I didn't say I didn't like, but when she ran up on the Carmitage, and even when that mirror shit she was doing, and she became into the water, and then she was
like her
yeah.
body was like contorted and shit. That
when
was
she went to the when she went to that like when she went to that ice. Hoth, no, it wasn't Hoth, but when her and Wong went to the when she went to her throne, that even when Strange was like a reborn zombie Strange, and he was doing all that stuff, man, like it just ran like. And then I was like way more invested. I was way more when they was fighting the what was the big guy was a Girth, the gargantuan or whatever they called it.
Gargantuan, yeah.
When they fought that in the beginning of the movie, I said, "Nah, man, this thing slaps so hard." Like we talked about that. We did a recording where we did a
brought out the hands and shit.
Man, oh man,
yeah.
That thing was so live, and it made me change my course on what that movie was. And I ultimately really liked it. Like it's still not what I thought. It's not what I want to say. My expectation just called it Multiverse of Madness, and I can still have. I didn't like the way they did more though, things of that nature. But Wanda was Maximoff was Elizabeth Olsen was incredible. Just everything about it. I really not everything about it, but once I saw it on Disney Plus, it moved up the rankings because it would have been low before I saw it on Disney Plus. My next movie. I agree with you. I got Legend of the Ten Rings. And well, everything that you said was everything that you said. It wasn't, and you remember when we talked about this movie. I don't know if we weren't recording yet before Legend of the Ten Rings came out. Obviously, we weren't because we didn't even start to probably right around Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness. But the thing about it was there was such a low expectation I had going in. Like, I'm like, oh, this ain't go already. Now I'm gonna go see it. But I got such a low expectation of it.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I had low expectations for this.
Yeah.
What really set it off is how dope the Mandarin was. How dope his father was.
Great villain.
And he was dope like all the way through. Like that. Even when Shang-Chi was mopping his team in that warehouse, right? Mopping when they was fighting in the fight club, and then he had to try to save the girl and all that. But then when his father showed up, like I told y'all, I bet them that they weren't gonna be able to kill you. Just his energy right there, like, okay, you mopping my team, but come on, man, I'm still that dude. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Shang just kind of fell in line. Like,
I got these rings on my wrist.
He was so good. The mother was good. Like his mom's when it was at Taylor, whatever that realm was.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it wouldn't have been higher than Multiverse of Madness, as I don't think it could have been. Just for what that was doing. But it would have been higher basically before I saw the Disney Plus. I think it was just riding what it was supposed to do up until the dragon. A dragon that dragon take away. Like that was terrible. So bad. It looked so bad.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
It went on too long. It wasn't good quality.
It was goofy with the big fight at the end between the two little armies.
Yeah, it just kind of ran on too long.
Yeah,
it ran on too long.
A little bit too long.
They made them look like you say. Those both sides were supposed to be like dope warriors, and like they all looked goofy when they was getting it in. So it was like,
the
dude should have been really. Say what? No, yeah. Dude with the razor dude. It should have just been probably him and his father scrapping, and then maybe the daughter against they killed Mask dude, but like maybe him should have been, things like he ended up getting the little thing took him away. Like they should have been scrapping things of that nature, right? Because this was some people that had some hands, but that's the part that like it was like okay, yeah, whatever. But overall, like I say, it was consistent. Go ahead, what you about to say?
Hey, bro, he should have
cheeks.
Hey, bro, he should have got them cheeks, bro. He should have clapped Katie, bro.
I never was in the movie more. That started. I never been in the movie more like he should.
Hey, when you called that, bro. You called that. I'm gonna give you your credit on that. You called that immediately, and I almost want to take him off my number 3 now, just because he should have clapped, bro. I'm gonna leave him there, but I'm just saying, bro. He should have clapped Katie. He was
supposed to clap Katie.
Man, you on a plane with Katie, man? Come on, bro. Katie up there. Whatever, man.
When he saved her on the bus, when she got mushed, and that's when he was ready to fight.
Hey, dude, he mugged the shit out of me, bro. Like almost to the point where I'm looking at that, like, bro, did she sign off for that?
Yeah,
because it wasn't no stunt woman, bro. That was her.
That was her.
That was all her.
That was her
hitting the side of the bus and shit.
Get out of her.
Falling. He said
he was like,
and it was one of them. It was one of them like lookaways too, like. Get your stupid ass. And then sell your ass. Get your monkey ass out of my way. All right.
He mugged the shit out of her. Hey man, Shane got in all his shit like, yeah, you do that, you okay? And then he went to proceeded to getting busy. So like, yeah. So I got that as 3.
Shang-Chi, man, number 3, man.
I got that number 3. And you make a great point. Up until the dragon, it does have a rewatchability. Right, when they going through the maze, when he do the water trick, like when he do the thing, when he put the necklaces, the gem, and then the water just stops. Yeah. Now the editing and the imagery, the visual effects on what was that city that they were in that she ended up taking over? Where he was living. The imagery when even going in the helicopter, going over and all like that. That was pretty dope, man. Like that was dope.
I'm gonna say, man, it was
up until the fight, man.
Very solid movie.
Like, and going back to number 2, I want to point out, and I still didn't like it, but it was much better at home when it was fighting with the piano. I'll never forgive him for that, but it was better at home. I will never forgive him for that.
Like, bro, yeah, I can't forgive him for that.
I
shit,
can't
man.
forgive him for that.
No, that's some goofy ass shit, man.
Was
Nah,
ignorant.
even at home, he was like, "I'm fighting with goddamn piano keys,
man,
or notes."
That had been like the last scene. Let's say like we was gonna make that epic. Oh man, I probably just let the movie, man. Like, all right, so we going with that. Okay, number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Damn, I can't believe we agreed again. I thought we was gonna disagree.
Yeah, this hurt, bro.
I thought you was gonna have this.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna have. I just knew you was gonna have that 3. Wakanda Forever. Again, only happened last week. And honestly, I'm gonna tell there are things that actually there's things in the movie that actually pull it down because it's the best active movie in this phase. Yeah. The tribute to Chad and the kind of honoring Chad in here was incredible.
Beautiful.
It was just gorgeous, man. And then just like Angela Bassett.
Great performance.
Every day I go past, even from our
give her a nomination
recording, even as we go past our most recent recording, the way Letitia Wright, yeah, I'm good. Letitia Wright acted. She was incredible. Freaking Okoye, incredible. The little bit that M'Baku was in there, dope. Nakia, like all just dope. Like, so I don't want to go back into like, it's just a couple things that were included in there that took away from the story. And I will stand fast on that shouldn't have been in it. That had they just been like little nods, just like we talked about Ultron, hey, even with the scientist stuff, like had they used that angle and just kept it that way, that we would at same runtime, because one thing that pulled it down, I didn't get enough Dora Milaje, and I just didn't get enough of Wakanda, and it's Wakanda forever, right? For me. Nice. But the stuff that was in there, like that what it was going to be, it was incredible. It was well shot. It's beautiful, right? But it's just things in there that I already know today that will take away from the rewatchability of it for me. That's going to annoy me, and I don't know a better way to say it, right? I'm not trying to be super negative. They're just saying things in there that shit. If I fast forward it, I fast forward the movie, like I fast forward the plot.
I'm with you, yeah.
So there, but Angela Bassett, Suri Okoye, that scene between Angela Bassett and Okoye when she kicks her, when she fires her, basically, it's just goodness gracious, right? Incredible. That's just really good. It was really good. It was the Namor up until his mustache turn. Namor. That's one thing Phase 4 has gotten really good on, outside of a couple movies, is the person, like, I just call him the antagonist, because not everyone has been a villain. Most people have been like a sort of like antagonist.
Yeah.
He becomes a villain at the end to me, and that turn is what I didn't like. I also didn't like. I'll say this: I didn't like. I knew Suri was going to be the Black Panther, and I was okay with that. What I didn't like is her being a hands combat Black Panther, and I brought that up. And I don't want to take like that. It's things like that pull it down, as opposed to like other things lifting. Meaning, like, it had the basis from being like a really great emotional tribute, and just a good MC movie altogether. And it's just too many things in there, especially with that runtime, that to me takes away from people like M'Baku, take away from the Dora Milaje, takes away from Wakanda, even takes away, to be quite honest, the way Angela Bassett ended in the movie. That it's messy. You used a great word. Some of it was messy, and the messiness of the movie, because there's some great elements in it, it's the messiness of it that bring it down to 4. It should be better. It should at the very least be better than the Legends of 10 Rings. Because Spider-Man and Doctor Strange was going to be heavy hitters. They were going to be heavy hitters, right?
That was going to be tough.
And they had cameos, because this one ain't got like a cameo movie. It had cameos in it. Those were going to be like more events, but this was going to be like wow, this is Chad. Now, had it had Black Panther, that's a different story. But this one it was going to be like just a move, like a well put together movie, and there's just messy things in it that actually puts it at number 4, where it should be much higher, or a strong 3, nonetheless.
I think had we before it came out, before we actually seen it, we had to project where it was going to land, being that it was the last movie and we had the other 6 movies already. We could have already had those ranked. I think if we would have projected where it was going to land, we would have had it at number 3. I think I would have said I'll speak for myself on that. I think I would have at least projected it to be in the top three, if not top two, because we didn't know what we was gonna get. We was worried about it, but we was like,
Mhm.
those could be strong.
I didn't get worried until like probably after some of the other movies came out. Like, whoa, this is what y'all doing right now, and then the TV
Yeah,
shows as
that's
well.
a great
Right.
point. That's a
Like
great point.
walking in, like let's say like before when they roll out when we looking at the backdrop that we had and they rolled out the roster. I'm like,
Yeah,
Wakanda, you know what they about to do with Wakanda forever.
ever
And there was most of that stuff that was in there. It was just the things that they threw in there, like you say, the messiness of it,
very messy.
beyond just regular criticisms that I could have easily, I would have thought, I would honestly, if you asked me this time, 2019, whatever they did that Comic-Con and they did the rollout, man, I could have said one, to be quite honest, until I started getting noise about, oh, I think Andrew and Toby in there. I would have said one until I got that information. Then once I got that information, like, man, it's gonna be tough to beat that no way because they coming with them hitters. And this is a movie without Chad as the Black Panther. So I
And
would have
that's a
said at
good,
least two.
and that's my that's and like you said, you got worried when you started seeing it. I got worried more so when I realized like, okay, they not gonna recast. Like
They not gonna recast.
this is not gonna go the way that I even try to theorize. I had a wild fringe rogue theory out there where I was like, man, what if Kane, what if like a variant
Yeah, yeah.
Kane come in there and be a Black Panther, be like a version of T'Challa somehow, like or a ancestor or something. You know what I mean? Like something, but nah, that didn't happen. Once I realized, like, okay, that's not gonna happen, I was like, I start getting a little worried about it. But
I thought the multiverse was gonna open, and that's how we were gonna get a Black Panther. I thought that's what was gonna happen. A Panther
and that still could happen.
Panther that maybe lost his Wakanda, and
yeah,
we have a Wakanda that lost his Panther. And I thought the multiverse, I thought the multiverse was gonna play an impact in this, and realistically, nothing we've seen since Multiverse of Madness has been impacted actually by a multiverse. I think they're gonna say it later after we get into Moon Knight was in another multiverse. So I think they're gonna do that little kind of mind trick, but basically none of the movies have to me have impacted. But we got this at 4.
All right. So
go ahead.
Let's go. No, I'm just saying. Number 5. What do you got?
Number 5. I got Black Widow.
Oh, damn! Woo! There we go.
I got Black Widow. I got Black Widow at 5. And you named a couple of things. I think they introduced a really good character in Elena. I think they could have did more with Red Guardian. But I also think they went too heavy into the family element, right? Like it became a family movie, right? Go ahead, my bad.
Nah, my bad. I cut you off. Go ahead.
I thought I was going to be watching the Black Widow, aka Andor. I thought that's what I was.
Yeah.
I thought we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the stuff they were saying, and
with the right director. Yeah, we could have got
getting
that.
Andor, Jason Bourne. I thought we was getting. I'm saying Andor because those are people that made the Bourne identity.
Exactly. And
I thought we very much Black Widow Bourne identity. She was built for it.
Yeah, and she was and even in that timeline, even in that part of the timeline, she would have been doing that. She would have had to stay hidden by all means. You know what I mean? Like so. For them to turn it into a like a goofy family, and it was that one. It was like a great scene. I felt like I ain't gonna call it a great scene. I'm gonna say it was a good scene. It was kind of like almost like unintentionally impactful. Was the one where Lena was kind of like, "No, you guys lied to me about my family. You guys." Oh no, what did she say? She was like basically saying like it was a family that. Yeah, I thought it was real.
She thought it was real.
But it's like we didn't get anything from Natasha really.
No.
So it was like, damn, Elena kind of stole the show there, But yeah, I'm with you, man. Had we got that Bourne team or somebody close to that, I thought
we was gonna get some of that because she told Tony in Civil War, I'm not the one that need to watch my back.
Damn.
So even the Black Widow we got from the beginning of the movie she was in wasn't the one that walked away from Tony. And that was just like a week later. She was a more somber. That was more, honestly, And that could have been the direction that Scarlett did, or the director didn't get it out of her. It's like she was still acting like the end of Endgame, like the beginning of Endgame. Remember, she was eating that peanut butter sandwich. She was more that Scarlett, that more
Yeah,
of that
that's
Black
true.
Widow than the
Yeah,
widow
yeah.
that was in Civil War. Even the widow that showed up in Infinity War. So it didn't feel like it was that time period. The way the movie was set up, I really liked Elena. Thought they could have did more with Guardian. The like you say, and the Black Widows wasn't as nice as like you made them. We know the Red Room way doper than that, and that was just like a thrown together bunch, right? Well, like them some deadly assassins, right?
Yeah.
So I got a recurring thing where I thought I was gonna get some black. The Red Room should have been nasty.
They was not as mysterious and mystical as
they wasn't as theory. They were just a bunch of females in a tight outfit. Like I didn't really get like
when they was doing a little training montage, like where they were like, yeah, that was kind of. But yeah, you made a great point. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. But you made a great point, and I can't even remember what my train. Oh man, you said no, man. But you just talking about the mindset she was in. You're right. She was nowhere near. She wasn't that. That wasn't her, bro. Like from coming out of Civil War, she had just made the decision to turn on Tony after first being on his side.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That wasn't her. That was Blip Natasha.
Yeah, and considering the fallout of Civil War, because they hadn't got to, Thanos hadn't really, came down to Earth yet, but the fallout of movie the events in Civil War, you would think she would have, you would have saw that a little bit more in her performance, and it just, like you said, it's just more like she was.
They told me this movie had happened during the blip, I would have believed it more than if they told me it happened than what they did tell me it happened during Civil War. But I thought they created a pretty dope character, so that's why it's 5. That's the only reason I got it as 5 above the other 2 is because of her, because of Yelena. She actually saved. She was the best thing of 2 things that have come out.
Right. See, this is why
the best part of the movie.
Yeah, this is definitely more interesting to start from this top. Go to
the yeah, because so you get the top is the top. Okay. Cool. Woo. Number 6. Eternals. And everything you said is correct. Now, it never could be wrong, it's opinion, but I agree with everything you said. It was 2 hours. I walked out that movie outside of the fact that I enjoyed the end post credit.
Yeah.
Right. I enjoyed the post credit.
Oh, yeah.
It probably can rank with any of these other shows when it comes to post credits.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Probably if you did the post credits of these movies.
What's the dude name again?
Dane Whitman. That's his real name, right? Is that his real name? That ain't his real name, is it? He gonna be Dane, right? That's who he's gonna be.
Oh yeah, you talking about? Oh, because there's 2 of them.
Oh, and then you had
Thor's brother and the other one.
Yeah, you had Thanos' brother.
I said Thor brother. Thanos' brother and
Thanos' brother. So they had 2 of them. Yeah,
that's
you're
a
right.
Great point.
So you did the post credits.
The other one can rank. You're right. No, that one with Blade, the Blade voice.
Yeah, that kind of was going. So
what did he say? You sure about that, Mr. Whitman? Or what did he say?
Some shit like, yeah, you sure about that, Mr. Whitman? But everything, I don't even know how to add more. Like the fact that it was just a wasted. It should have been a TV show. Should have been a TV show. I think they wasted the person that they wanted to show with an arc was supposed to be the one that was the biggest star in the show, in the movie, which was what's my girl Angelina Jolie. Like her arc should have been that was way more interesting than anything else they had going on, right? But they chose to put it in other areas. The heel turn of my man being the villain was just like, okay, cool. The deviants, they were trash. There was just nothing about even that final scene. That final scene where when you was watching the preview, was like, oh, it's about to go down, and then you see it, and it was like, oh, I thought that was gonna be just a scene in the movie, not the scene in the movie, and it ended up being that should have been also an inkling that we were changing times in the MCU movies, that everything was gonna be in the trailer, right? But like now they came out with movies where everything was in the trailer, and that was one of the first ones where everything was in the trailer. It should have got an inkling that, oh, okay, this is how the rest of this is going to go.
Oh man, that's a good point, man. Good
So
point.
I don't really got nothing else to add to that. I mean, I know you got to add some points, but it just wasn't good. And only reason it's here is how much I dislike.
Because this one didn't improve at home.
Oh, I ain't even. I'm boycotting that one, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that so to this day. Hey, man, to this day.
You feel how I feel about Eternals. Nah, I'm with you though. I'm with you.
So
man.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
You used a great term. You said it was like a spoof. You was the first person I heard say that. I started hearing that more pop up across the interwebs. You were the first person I say that. It's like they made fun of me for liking this type of stuff.
Yep.
It was like, dude, I'm
just
want to watch
man, you dumbass. Yeah, you idiot.
Don't make fun of me, man. Like, y'all take this stuff because like man, y'all take this way too. Take it too serious. Like, I like this stuff. Don't make fun of me for liking this stuff, bro. And I feel like y'all slapping me in the face like I did something like. And the worst part about that was everyone loved. Most people unanimously love the Ragnarok. You don't hear shade for Ragnarok. So why did you need to make a movie to make fun of people who like that stuff as if people had been taking shots at y'all? The jokes I didn't find funny at. I'm trying to think of maybe it was probably one or two. I didn't get it. What was that? The dumpling god or whatever he was. That's when I should have just walked out the theater, man. I should have walked out the theater, man. I should have left.
That's where I felt the spoof came in. I was like, this is spoof. This is spoof. When I
saw kept doing that goat joke. Not laughing, high pitched horses or whatever it was.
2017 shit.
They just kept doing it. They kept making the Hammer, the Stormbreaker jealous. And I felt like they really wasted Gore. Like he didn't God Butch. He was incredible. He would have been incredible. And it was like they gave the little kids powers. You know, people was like, "Hey man, you sure you?" But was my man Sky-Lord, like Star-Lord? Think we can't do something with that? Like he didn't use that power when they was in Endgame, when they was out there fighting the Black Order. Like, hey man, enchant your team.
Yeah, you got capable mercenaries out here, bro. Enchant them.
You had your own Ars Guardians that could have been enchanted.
You know what? Goddamn Drax could have did with that. By the way, just real quick, let me throw this in. This ain't when you play that game, you realize they sunning Drax's strength in the movies, because in the game, man, he damn near Superman in the game. But that's another conversation. But yeah,
they do it in
you're right.
They got to this on Disney Plus, the kind of Guardians.
Yeah, man, he like lifting boulders and shit.
Yeah, he's nice with the strength,
bro.
He's nice with the strength.
He damn near like, you know,
Thor level,
them, right? Yeah, Thor level and shit. But anyway, but yeah, you're right, man.
I have such a disdain. He told Sith that her arm, because her arm got cut off in battle, it will go to Valhalla. But since you alive, you good. You didn't
truly ass movie, man.
It was just And then it looked like that Tessa Thompson was gonna be something. I ain't trying to campaign for her, but then like she got hurt and she was off screen for the remainder of the movie. Like she was a pivotal part. I have a running theme about some of this stuff where it was like, why? Like it's like you don't have to take away from something to put something else in. Like she was a big part. She was part of the Revengers. Like, and then it was quick too. It's like she was about to have a moment when she was talking to, and that's my part. They went so much with what's the Korg? This is Korg or Meek? They did so much with Korg. It was like, okay, it's not funny. He was cool in the other movie. This is too much. Okay, Taika, you might want to get more shine, but like, yo, you doing too much. I think the balance y'all had when he was in the other movie, even when he showed up in Endgame, like the balance of that makes the halfway jokes that he's telling or the comedic time, it makes it more impactful. It was too much, and then he was just a head. It was boy, that movie. And then when they went to like Zeus, and he had the skirt on and he had that Greek accent.
Man.
You flick too much and they doing all that shit. Yo, I'm good. Like there was no moment. I thought there was no moment when I was watching it that I was like, this now he's starting to settle in. and then to the point that when the post credit scene come, I was like, I like the Valhalla one, right?
Yeah.
But then it also felt like, oh, okay, so now we blatantly set up that all these people are gonna be around because that may be a channel that we get to bring people back from the dead, right? Whether it's Tony, like we just kind of like leave it, we're gonna leave that hanging out there. So we may not use a multiverse, we may use all our shit, multiverse, Valhalla, timelines, future, past, Spider-Verse. We may do a lot of different ways. It just was like about time that part of the movie happened. I was just like, wow, man, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they let that release and like thought that was gonna be okay, right? Where it had elements where it could have been like really like even the beginning when he was with the it's like what do we got the Guardians in here for? Like that was a waste. Like that was a waste. That the like they had such a dope chemistry in Avengers, and we just totally throw that away in this one. Not a Infinity War. The dynamic between the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor was like one of the best parts of the movie, and we just totally throw that out the way just to put them in there. Got Thor doing the splits and shit between. Hey man, get out of here, man! He's doing the splits, man. Talking about and Korg reading his little epitaph like. This is the same dude that chopped off Thanos' head. And
played him.
And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it the
after he came into Wakanda
movie.
After he came his intro in Wakanda,
that guy.
After he took the full blast from a star. Or was it a star? Yeah. From the sun or whatever that was. Said, the star.
Only if he said it's gonna kill you. Only if I die. You do know that's what killing you means. That guy.
That's what killing you means. Yeah. That guy.
And he never heel turned.
He was doing the splits. To hold back two ships.
Yeah, man, that was. I have such a disdain for that movie. Maybe it's probably a better made movie than Eternals. I mean, Eternals.
Taika Waititi, goofball.
He did too much, man. Like for real. That was such. You know, it's bad. That it was such a messed up way to do that to everyone that Star Wars got quiet on him being the director of a Star Wars movie. And you know, they lose directors left and right. That they just went cemetery silent on Taika. He was the hottest thing on the planet before that movie dropped. We got a Taika gonna do a Star Wars movie. Now it's like, you know, it's whatever, because it's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
Oh, that's Taika.
It's never gonna happen. And Taika was like you said. Taika was hot.
It was too much. I should have known what it was because he was doing most of the interviews. Like Ryan didn't get that many interviews. Taika was getting a lot of interviews before that movie came out. Ryan didn't get that much for work. I should have known that, like, oh yeah, he gonna make this about him. Yeah, and it just felt like an unnecessary spoof that they didn't make. It wasn't like a moment where it was gonna be like they was gonna be dealing with toxic masculinity or they was gonna be dealing with feminism. It was, you know, any of those things that like you want to kind of like troll a particular. It was like you just trolling people who like these kind of movies, and it was like that was unnecessary. Not that I'm not saying I took it personal, like I could care less, but it was like that was unnecessary, man. Like it just didn't need to happen, and we all wasn't in on that joke. Whatever y'all inside joke y'all had, we wasn't in on it, man. I just went on a long diatribe about why, but I think it's fair to say not only do I think it's the worst movie of this phase, it's the worst movie altogether.
Damn.
I'm thinking right now. Now I can think and probably find the worst, but I don't care. Because I thought was the worst, I'm keeping this as a worst.
This is where I'm with you on this one. All right, because you want to talk about this phase. We walked out of a lot of movies hot, right? I don't know if we walked out of me personally. I don't know if I walked out of a movie where I was as hot as I was out of it. Even Doctor Strange. We know we walked out of that one like, man, this what the fuck was that, man? This, I was like, I'm embarrassed. Like, this is embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
It was no redeeming qualities. There was no like, even Doctor Strange. I was even out of the theater. I was like, damn, man, Elizabeth Olsen was really good. You know, even though I didn't really, for some reason, like the heel turn didn't translate for me. And the first two times around, I was still like, man, Elizabeth Olsen was like really good. It was a really good second part of her WandaVision arc. Even you know, all the performances, I walked away like, man, it was great. This shit again, like I told you, Thor was Thor, a little bit more goofier. They had him doing just wild shit, splits, jumping on the broom, riding away like a witch. You had and then like you said, they underutilized Gore, but I was like, even the little bit I got of Christian Bale, I was like, man, that's really good. That's
Yeah,
why
he
I
was
had it
good.
high.
Yeah, he good.
But
Yeah, he
I'm
good.
with you, man.
It's just the theme of the
What
movie.
What it's crazy how this is the only phase we really can look back on where we walked out of movies like hot.
I could name like probably 4 of these that I was like, Widow I watched at home, but I was like, damn, that's what I got. And it was the first one. So it was like, that's what I got. Then it's like, because then you kind of like watch Widow, and then you kind of backtrack a little bit. You'd be like, okay, Captain Marvel was kind of like, okay, like that's what I got, but we going to the end game. So I'm just post credit got me. So it's like I'm going to the end game. Even Ant-Man, it was like, so then you start pulling out the receipts, right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's just okay. Like, okay. I walked out, but then it was like, okay, Shang-Chi, cool. I'm like, oh, like, okay, cool. We got a new character. I could see something with that happening. Okay, cool. Got 10 rings, whatever. Cool. I'm okay. I'm surprised because I had low expectations. Then it was like Eternals. Okay, now we hot again. We hot. We officially hot now. I can't say I was officially hot. I was just looking at the receipts with Black Widow, and I was at the crib. Eternals hot. Multiverse of Madness, much as I like it now, hot.
Mm-hmm.
Love and Thunder,
Yeah,
boiling hot.
You know
hot.
what? Now Eternal's still the hottest for me, man. Because I went on my you talking about diatribe. Yeah, I went on.
That's how. Yeah, so we got two of them. We got soapboxes to stand on. I agree with you, but that's how I feel about Love and Thunder. That I refuse to watch it again on Disney Plus to see if the measurement, does it slap better at the crib measurement, and I just won't. I can't bring myself to do it.
If you look at our bottom 3, they're interchangeable.
Yeah,
obviously. Here. Like we got the same bottom 3, just and slightly, but yeah, I mean, we like literally got them upside down. Like,
I think we can agree they're not good.
But we all agree that they are far cry from Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think it's a big gap between.
Yeah, it's not
on your list, Black Widow and Wakanda Forever. My list, Love and Thunder.
I can do some shit like this.
Yeah, put them shits way down there.
Yeah.
Because they some bullshit,
And I could probably watch. Honestly, I think when I watch Wakanda Forever again, it just kind of like, okay, I know what to expect. It's probably gonna jump Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, I think so. Especially the water scenes when you get that the water, because the water scenes was kind of like, I don't know, they was hit or miss for me in the theater. I think when you get that at home under
especially that beginning one
on some Dolby,
when they didn't know, they was like doing the communication, and they trying to like, and then they lost those two divers. Like, that thing probably gonna hit.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably gonna hit. Even when she threw, we was talking about this, that still makes me laugh. Your 40X moment when she threw the spear into the car. I think those little scenes are going to really, hell, maybe even when she dropped from up top in her Black Panther outfit, that might hit harder at the crib. Like when I'm sitting there, like it's different things. Because I think I tell you, we had this conversation. I think these things are getting formatted for TV, and they're trying to figure out how they can do it now. How can they do it for both? Because some of the movies, just like when you go to the theater, they're just not as good a quality in the theaters as probably they used to be, right? Because they're probably trying to format them for both because more people watch things at the crib now. We got to make sure this hit hard at the crib because most back in the, like, even not that long ago, shit didn't slap hard at the crib. Like, y'all got some of these other movies from the MCU, and it was the movie did that better than the theater did that better than the Blu-ray I got. So I think, like you say, we ended up kind of with the same list. Our bottom 3, our top 4 are identical.
Yeah.
Our bottom 3 are the same. Obviously, they're the same names, just in different orders. And our ones that we deem to be the worst movies, we are both passionate about how they're the worst. we make passionate claims on why.
Yeah. You made a good man. That was a good rant actually about Love and Thunder, man. That's like it's like I don't really even disagree with you. It's just where we place them is different, you know.
Yeah. Same
But
energy.
I'm with you though.
Same energy.
Yeah.
So man, well, next time we'll do this. I like this, man. You know, I think what the dope thing about the MCU, I think any of these kind of things that you like, even through this, I think we'd have came up with like 3 more ranking episodes that we could do, right? Right.
Yeah.
I think we could like best fights. I think there was
Best
another one.
fights.
I think there was another one that we kind of came up with. We also got to rank like who got the best trilogies, right? Like who like top. I think it's even like rank the not the best, but rank the trilogies.
Damn, Ant-Man coming up on the trilogy. Damn,
he coming up on a trilogy. Like, you know, we actually can do that after he has his trilogy.
Yeah, let's do it. Because he might mess around and have like one of them. His third movie might be
he kicking off a phase with his. So yeah, so we see that. So I think the next time we'll come up, we had the ranking of the phase 4 movies. We'll do the ranking of the phase 4 shows. I was even thinking about how can we intertwine them all, like what's the best all together, but man, that's a lot. That's 7 movies, 8 TV shows, will be 3 specials. What's that? 15, 18? It's 18 things to rank. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, but hey man, so we're gonna probably good to stop. Yeah, it's probably good to stop there. And we'll just recap on this rankings on the next time we record.
That's right.
Cool.